What's up, guys? We actually have two new people joining our team at Full Sail. So today I walk them through the step-by-step strategy and process of how we help contractors grow their brand and actually generate leads. And in this case, the example that we use is for kitchen remodeling. So if you're a remodeler, home builder, landscaper, anything that's sort of like those industries, this is gonna be perfect for you. Check it out. All right, so here's how we do it. So let's say a client comes in and they say, look, and we're gonna go with like a remodeling client, right? That's actually where we're starting 10 more towards is remodeling, landscaping, ponds, anything that's more visual and longer term relationship. Because one of the issues is with a lot of contractors, they come in and they say, hey, I need leads today. And if I don't get them today, I'm gonna go out of business next week. And there are a lot of marketing agencies that are good at that stuff. We're not as good at that. We're way better at the long-term, let's build out the trust, and that kind of sides more on the less urgent, more long-term industries, you know, custom home building. Like nobody freaks out and goes, let me buy a house today. It's all about the long-term plan and strategy, which is where email marketing comes in, different kind of retargeting campaigns, things that build out that long-term trust versus a short, you know, you Google something, it goes to a landing page, there's a hell of a promotional offer, and they call, which is like an instantaneous thing versus what we do, which is long-term. So the very first thing that happens, we're gonna say a remodeler comes in and says, all right, Logan, I wanted to start to generate leads for my company. So the very first conversation we're gonna have is, let's talk about that. So I'm actually gonna walk them through that full sales questionnaire, which is, I ask them, you know, what are they looking for? How are they hoping I can help? What are you doing right now to try to generate leads? What is your goal outcome? What have you done so far to try to get there? Things like that. So Laura, for you going through Billie Jean, I'm all about the get information stage. I'm not going as far deep, which is where he goes, well, you know, who's your team members? How good are they at selling? Things like that. I'm not getting that deep, but it's more just about, I need you to spell out what is your specific end goal, because when you actually have a specific end goal, I can then reverse engineer that and figure out, okay, here's how many leads we need to get, here's this, here's that. So it's a lot easier to understand where we want to go. So that's the very first thing that I do is figure out what exactly they want. If they're in a situation where they're like, I need leads today, I can't, you know, I can tell them, hey, look, I can get you some leads down the road, but if it's a today thing, especially if they're in one of those low urgency fields, it's very tough to get like a bunch of kitchen remodeling leads today. Just because the way that people buy kitchen remodeling or like kitchen remodeling services is they generally do a ton of research, because just imagine you're about to buy a car. How much research you do on that car, you don't just all of a sudden decide to buy a car today when you do your first Google search. Most people generally do a lot of research over time. So that's why a lot of like low urgency services get very frustrated with some of these home advisors and other like quick lead generation services, because it's typically people who have not done a lot of research. So it's very hard to sell somebody on the idea of a kitchen remodel when they haven't done any research themselves, because it's all brand new to them. Does that kind of make sense?
Yes.
Melissa, you good with that?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So then the very first thing that we do is I will do what's called a online discovery audit. What an online discovery audit does is it lets me step in and understand what is truly going on with their business. And the reason for this is two parts. One is going to be, I don't want to sell somebody on the idea of, hey, I can do all this great stuff for you, when in reality, if I go online and we start to build out their website, or we start to do this or that, and then I learn halfway through they have a bunch of one-star reviews, it's very tough to generate leads for somebody like that. So I want to go in just like when you walk into your doctor's office and you're sick and you go, and the doctor says, hey, tell me what's going on. that's your time to say everything. Because if you walk in and say, hey, my chest hurts, and all they do is just treat your chest, well, they're just fixing some of the symptoms, but they're not actually attacking the problem. So I want to actually step in and understand the full picture so I can then say, okay, great, here's what I see, here's what I want to preserve more of, here's what I want to enhance or double down on, and here's what I want to transform. So it's PET, preserve, enhance, transform. So preserve could be like, hey, I really like the way that you're setting yourself up as a family-oriented company. So let's preserve that. I want to really enhance and double down on all the pictures that you have of your work showing the family-oriented aspect. But what I want to do is I actually want to transform or totally overhaul the before and after pictures because they look terrible, right? So like that's kind of how I'd walk them through the good stuff, the great stuff, and then the stuff that they need to improve upon. So that's the first part of it, is kind of getting a full understanding of what is really going on, kind of like that 40-point inspection you get with your car to know, okay, are the windshield wipers good? Is this good? Is that good? It gives me a holistic approach. And then the second part is this is what's called a foot in the door offer, or a low price point offer, which is before they sign on for potentially a $10,000 website with a $40,000 a year marketing plan. We sell them on something lower because it's a lot harder to sell somebody on the big overall thing, and it's a lot easier to sell them on something basic, which is our discovery audit. So we charge right now $500 for this, and pretty much this is our way of saying, hey, look, let's just work together a little bit. We'll design kind of an overall marketing campaign for you, figure out what's going on, and it's going to be $500. And the people who are serious about hiring us say, that sounds perfect. And the people that are not that serious go, whoa, that's too much money, or hey, I'm not willing to pay that. You can kind of weed those people out. So before you sit there and plan all this stuff and go through the hoops of planning out a marketing campaign, you can kind of push the people who are never actually serious nor have the money out immediately. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And so you would basically be creating more like quality leads for the business.
Exactly. So contractors also like themselves have consultation fees. So hey, hey, I can come out there and give you a quote, just so you know it's going to cost $200. And the people who are like, whoa, no way I'm paying that. If somebody's not willing to pay $200, what's the likelihood that they're going to be to pay $40,000 for a kitchen? Probably pretty low. So that's the idea of why we have this foot in the door offer. It's also called being part of a value ladder, which is you step up little by little. So you start them off with like a free download, then a $500 audit, then a $7,000 or $8,000 website, and then eventually like a $3,600 a month marketing plan. So you just kind of step them up little by little so they feel comfortable each step of the way. So let's say we go through the audit and I go, look, your stuff sucks. All right, we got to do a brand new website. We got to do a marketing plan. Let's go from there. The first thing that I'm going to do is I want to go through the website with them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, great, what actual services do you provide? And let's say they're a remodeler. Let's do something basic. We'll just say kitchens, like kitchen remodeling, bathroom remodeling, and basements. All right, those are the big three. So we're going to go kitchen. So during our kickoff meeting, which is all about the website, I'm going to ask them questions about the kitchen, the bathroom, and the basement. So if I go for kitchen, what most everybody says is I'll say, why do they want their kitchen remodeled? And what they're going to say is, well, they don't like the look of it. I'm going to go, well, and then I'm going to try to peel back the onion and almost play devil's advocate, because if I can really peel everything back and understand what their client is going through, it's a lot easier to sell them. And this is exactly what StoryBrand talks all about, is you've got an external problem, which is like a surface level problem, right? So surface level would be, why do they want a new kitchen? Well, they don't like the look of their kitchen, okay? Then you've got one step lower, which is called an internal problem, which is how are they feeling about this for the most part? And that could be they don't like their kitchen or they don't like the look of their kitchen and they feel embarrassed by it. right? So now we're not really fixing their kitchen, we're really fixing their feeling of embarrassment. So we're trying to really peel back that onion and peel back the layers to really get into their exact specific pain point. Because if we can talk about that very deep down pain point, everything else is easier to sell. Because what we're doing is we're no longer just a kitchen remodeler, we're more of like a problem solver or like a psychologist that makes them feel good, but we're doing it via a kitchen, but we just need to talk about the actual specific pain points that they're going through. So does that make sense so far about how we're not really selling a kitchen, we're really selling the idea of feeling confident and not being embarrassed anymore?
Yeah, it's always about selling the feelings. Always come back to like the feelings.
100%. You sell with emotion and you back it up with logic. Laura, does that make sense?
Yes, I remember Billie Jean, he did that as an example too about how some people want to remake their kitchen because they kind of want their children to grow up in it and watch them like grow, eat breakfast, go to school, and then eventually go off into college.
Exactly. Yeah, we have a whole website, like the latest one that we did, talks all about that, which is less about the kitchen, more about having a place for your kid to study for the SATs, because 94% of your FaceTime with your parents, you've taken up 94% of that amount of time before you graduate high school. So after that, 6%, you only have 6% left of like face-to-face time with your family. So while they're still in the house, you might as well get the full, seeing them and stuff. So by touching on that emotion of, we're not just gonna open up your kitchen, we're gonna open up the kitchen to allow you to hang out with your kids before they go off to college, that sparks an emotion and a visual in their head, and it makes it much easier to sell to somebody because now you're solving that problem. Cool? So that's what I do with them is I walk them through each one of their services and ask them those questions. And I challenge them pretty heavily where I'm just like, well, tell me why this is. Well, I think it's to change the color. Well, how do you know they don't like this color? Well, they say it's ugly. Okay, well, that doesn't make any sense to me. What makes an ugly color? Well, I don't know. I guess they don't like it. Well, what colors do they like? How do they know they like the colors? I don't know. I guess they saw something on HGTV. I'm like, oh, what do you think they saw on HGTV? Well, I think they saw this show, and this show. So then on the website, that's what we'll talk about. Hey, are you looking to repaint your bathroom because you feel apathetic about yours because of what you're seeing on Pinterest and HGTV? And people are going to go, yeah, I am. And that's what we talk about. So it's much easier to sell on emotion, which is what we put on the website, not as much on the actual product or service themselves. Cool? Okay. And the website as a whole, it's really meant to do two things. Number one, generate leads, right? It's a place to organize everything that the contractor does, puts a phone number on there, puts a list, or not a list, a form on there for people to fill out if they want, and capture information. And then the second part of it is build trust. When you build trust, that actually generates the leads. So it's kind of a 2-in-1, but we got to build the trust, and then you generate leads, and that's kind of how a website is all set up. All right? And if you want to go through that buyer's journey, you've got awareness, interest, desire, action, and retention. This is more on the desire/action, meaning at this point in the process, if they're looking at certain pages on our websites, and the way that we set these websites up are these quote-unquote service pages, so the pages which are kitchen remodeling services, bathroom remodeling services, those are meant, they're almost set up more as landing pages than they are as website pages, meaning we're trying to build up enough trust where we're assuming that somebody who's reading this page is looking to buy. Because if they're looking at the kitchen remodeling services page, well, they're probably looking to see who they want to hire for a kitchen remodeling project. But if they're looking on like a blog post that is like 3 kitchen backsplash ideas, where those people are just trying to figure out information or gather ideas, they're not looking for somebody, or at least we don't think they're looking for somebody to hire. They just want basic information. So we're not actually trying to sell those people on something. We're trying to sell the people who are on our service page on the idea of submitting a lead. So that's where that kind of comes in, of the desire and then the action of, if you're on our service page, we want to be selling you, building the trust, and then say, you know, this is how we can help. This is what your life will be like after us. Here's some credentials of other people in your situation. So go ahead and give us a call right now, and we'll help you with your problem. So that's how you kind of draw them down on a page and actually get them to call or fill out a form. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So that is how we use websites as a whole. Now, another part of it is going to be, that's like, so it's all broken down into 5 parts of our entire process. Part 1 is that question. What's up?
Do you guys create or do we create downloadable content for each of our clients too as like part of it, or is that okay?
Yep. So I'll get to that because that's part 4. So
Okay.
part 1 is the question. Let's figure out if we're a good fit. Part 2 is that online discovery audit. Part 3 is the website. And part 4 is going to be, okay, now let's actually grow the brand and generate leads. So the way that we do that is we have different packages. The very first package, the lowest package that we have, is just basic SEO, which is search engine optimization, which is how do we get the website and information about the website or whatever it is that we're trying to push out to the top of Google. Because we know that if people who are looking to hire somebody for kitchen remodeling services, we know that those people are doing a lot of research. So it's like, I looked at the numbers before, but it's like for every one person that's researching kitchen remodeling services, there's like 9 other people that are researching questions around like, how long does it take? How much does it cost? How do you hire someone for it? What are different ideas around the kitchen? Things like that. So what we do with our SEO is we try to focus on, let's get to the top for all these general information terms. Okay? So if we can get to the top for kitchen remodeling ideas, there's a lot more people searching for that. That's up here in the awareness stage where they're just initially trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Like, do I want to remodel my kitchen? What could it look like? They're just trying to gather basic information. They're not ready to hire somebody yet, but they're trying to gather basic information. And we do that through blogs, right? And that's what Turner does, who you guys will meet on Tuesday. We do that through blogs, which is he does a bunch of research, he figures out what people in the area are searching for, and then he will write blogs around those. So our basic package is 2 blogs a month, plus we do some Google business listing optimization to try to get that up to the top as well. But all in all, it's really trying to capture people at the very top of the funnel. Make sense so far?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So that's our basic package is SEO, and the whole idea is just to grow the online presence by, writing articles and blogs about stuff that people are searching for. And also it provides a lot of transparency. A lot of our clients will say, hey, I went on your website, I read a lot of the blogs, I love how open and honest and transparent you are, I want to hire you. So that's a big part of it, and it's just the same reason that for us, when we put out YouTube videos or podcasts or blogs, contractors will say, hey, I've read all your stuff, I've watched all your stuff, I like how you do things, I like how transparent you are, I trust you a lot more, I want to hire you now. So that's the reason that we do all that stuff, because we know it's not people who are quite ready to buy yet, but by constantly being in front of them with blogs and articles and stuff, they're a lot more likely to hire us from there. But it's all just mainly a traffic thing, not a let's turn them into a conversion right now thing. Cool? Okay, perfect. Now what we also have in the awareness stage, so that's like the most base model is SEO. Then you step it up as we have SEO and we have Google Ads. Now what that is that's 2 parts. You get your same basic SEO, which is very top of the funnel, but we also have Google Ads. Now what we do for Google Ads is that's mainly what's called bottom of the funnel, which is we don't want to spend a ton of money on everybody that searches for kitchen remodeling ideas, because those aren't people that are quite ready to buy yet. So we don't want to be spending $5, $10 every time somebody clicks on it. We only want to spend the money on people who are saying kitchen contractors near me, right? Hire a kitchen remodeler near me. Things like that. Things that are people who are more ready to actually buy from us. So that is going to be, if you have awareness, interest, desire, action, if somebody searches for kitchen remodeler near me, what stage do you guys think that's in?
Desire.
Desire. Do you understand why that is?
Maybe somewhere, almost maybe interest, but I would say probably more towards desire. Yeah.
Laura, do you see why that is?
Yes, I was debating between interest and desire.
Yeah, so with desire, that is somebody who is, they want the product. Now they just got to figure out who they want to hire, right? They haven't quite taken action yet, but that's what they want. So that's what we do with Google, because you can say, hey, Google, everybody who searches for this term, I want you to show an ad, and then from that ad, send them over to a dedicated landing page. Because if we send them just to the, if you search for on Amazon, like, I don't know, new hats, right? And an ad for Amazon pops up and says, hey, you want to buy a new hat? Come to Amazon. You click on that, and it sends you to Amazon's homepage. You're like, well, where the hell are the hats? So we send them to a dedicated page to talk all about hats, right? Or in this case, if they search for a kitchen remodeler near me, and they click on this ad, it sends them over to a specific page that the whole goal is to talk to them about kitchen remodeling and why they need to hire us, and then try to get them to call us or fill out a form. So that's kind of what we do with Google Ads. We also do what's called Google Display Network retargeting, which is, have you guys ever seen on like some web pages, they'll have like a picture of an ad at the top that you can like click on. So we use those as retargeting to say, hey, Google, everybody who came to this kitchen remodeling page but did not fill out a form or did not call us, please show them another ad to try to get them to come back. So that's going to be your second tier, which is SEO, and then Google Ads. The last one is going to be SEO, Google Ads, and then you throw in Facebook and YouTube advertising. So now you've got everything. And the whole goal with this is we want your company to be everywhere. Because if it's, if somebody's going to come in and say, and type into Google, roofers near me, or something related to like a very high urgent situation, they're going to buy much faster because they don't need to do as much research. They don't want to look for the necessary cheapest guy. They just want somebody who can come out there and fix their problem, because if you don't fix a leaking roof, then the water comes into the house and now it ruins everything else. So time is more of their factor, their deciding factor, while with us, it could be price, it could be this, it could be that, so it's a longer sales cycle. So that's why if we make you everywhere, we can say, somebody comes in, they type in remodeler near me, and we send them off to a landing page. And let's say they don't fill out a form or they don't call us. What we then do is we say, hey, Google, we want you to show those display ads to everybody who didn't submit a form. Hey, Facebook and Instagram, we want you to show them another ad saying, hey, everybody, hey, you didn't fill out this form. Let's go ahead and get back in front of you again. And we do the same thing with YouTube. So we literally, if somebody comes in, we then want to show them who we are every single place that they go on the internet, because the more that we can get in front of them, the more likely it is that they're actually going to build trust with us and want to hire us. Now with all that, maybe they're not quite ready to hire us, right? Maybe they looked up kitchen remodeler, but they're still early on. Instead of going for the overall home run, which is, hey, give us a call, maybe we get them just to hop on our email list because they're not quite ready yet. So let's go ahead and give them an ad on Facebook to say, hey, instead of calling us to hire us for kitchen remodeling, what if you just download our kitchen remodeling guide instead? So that way all they're doing is they're giving their name and their email, and we're just giving them a guide to walk them through the process, timelines, prices, options, all that stuff so they can do research on their own. And in exchange, now we have their name and their email to market to them that way. So if they're not quite ready to go for the home run, which is the very top of that, let's say, value ladder, and they want something a little bit lower, which is more on the, just name and email and download, that kind of stuff, we now have their information because what a lot of people think is, oh, they search for kitchen remodelers, they came to my website, when they're ready to buy or they want to hire somebody, they're going to remember me and they're going to come back, which is not the case. So we want to be proactive and say, hey, if you're going to come to our website, we'll give you something special, but in return, we want the ability to market to you over and over and over so we can build enough trust so when it is time for you to hire somebody, you've already been getting our emails for 6 months, who do you want to hire? They're going to hire you more likely. Does that make sense? Go ahead, Laura.
Do you guys also do text messaging, sending out mass text messages to phones that you guys collect the numbers?
So for text messaging, we do not do anything with that at this moment. We need to, but we don't. So it's one of those things where the more phone numbers you can have on your list, the more emails you can have on your list. That's the one nice thing, is that when you have somebody's email, unless they block you or they change their email, it's a free marketing tool over and over and over, versus like with Facebook, you can say, hey, look, everybody who came to my site, I want you to show them another ad, but you have to pay Facebook every single time, while with email, it costs nothing to email somebody. So that's what we're doing right now. So as far as the Billie Jean and the automation stuff, we don't have text messaging yet, but that's something that I'm hoping that, Laura, when you step in, we can start to try to build that out a little bit more. Does that make sense?
Definitely, yeah. He said that, yes, he said that with, compared to emailing, like he says like a 10% rate that someone will open their emails, and that I think it's a 90% chance that people open their text messages. So that'd be cool to get into.
It's good and bad, because with text messages, if it's not done properly, because everybody's opening their text, the unsubscribe rate is much higher. So like for our email list, like we average right at a 50% open rate, which is pretty solid. And that's with 3 emails a week, which is kind of a lot. But with text messaging, it's like everybody's going to open it, but people don't want to be bothered through text. So it has to be like really well done stuff.
Okay.
So that's another idea. But that's a little bit like we haven't even gone down that road yet. So I won't touch on it because I don't personally know enough about it. But that's kind of how I see it. So that would be kind of what we would want to do is for this kitchen remodeler, we're going to set up in Google, hey, Google Ads, show them an ad anytime somebody searches for some buyer-ready term, and then let's go ahead and retarget them across the board. And that's going to be one way that we try to sell them on the idea of hiring us. The other way is we can say into Facebook and YouTube and all the other all the other social medias, hey, we want you to find people like this. And that's going to be, for us, most of our clients, they're all women between the age of 40 and 60. That's just how it works out. Women between the age of 40 and 60 who generally have kids, and they want, for remodeling, let's say for kitchens, they want the family aspect. So now what we're going to do is we're going to show them ads on Facebook that could be something fun and entertaining, right? So it could be something that's like, hey, I don't know, check out this kitchen remodeling project, or check out like the 2020 kitchen remodeling trends, right? Something that's going to try to pique their interest, and then that's going to be hitting people in that awareness stage. So it's almost like showing a TV commercial, because TV commercials don't always know who's watching. They just kind of broadcast it out for everybody. And then what the nice thing about social media is you can say, hey, Facebook, everybody who actually clicked on this ad or did something with the ad, or if it's a video, watched enough time in the video that we think they're interested, let's show them a different one. So we already know that they're now aware of us. Let's try to get them more interested. Let's show them a separate ad. So that's another way that we try to grow our followers or grow our leads and customer base. Is it's not everybody knows they want a kitchen yet until we show them this ad. And then now what we're doing is almost like the inception idea of we're planting the idea of a new kitchen in their head. So that's another way that we do this. So for this all to work, the first thing that we'll do is, let's say for the Google ads, we'll say, okay, great. We got to do research around the specific keywords that we want. and set up ads. Laura, that's where you come in. You step in, you create all the ads, you do the research of what people are looking for, and then that way all the ads are done. Then the next step of that is going to be, let's create a landing page, right? This is where Melissa is going to step in, build out this full landing page, and this all comes after we have already built them a website and we've already done the story brand ideas behind it. So we know why are people buying, things like that. So now we have a landing page that Melissa built. Then the next step is we understand not everybody's going to be ready to buy right now. So let's go ahead and show some retargeting ads to those people that came on the landing page from Google, but they're not quite ready. Let's just try to get them on our email list, right? So we'll step them up. So then from there, Laura, what you do is you go, okay, let's create some Facebook ads and YouTube ads around this, trying just to get them on the email list. So what you do, Laura, is you'll go, all right, first we need some creative, bless you, something that will stand out to them, because as people scroll on Facebook or Instagram, we got to hit them fast and get them to stand out. You're going to go, Alex, what videos do we have that are engaging enough that you think will get people to stop? All right, great. So we got that video. Now we need to give them something in return for their email address. Turner, do we have any good blogs that we could turn into a downloadable PDF? Oh, great. We actually have a whole guide to kitchen remodeling as a blog. Let's send that out to a graphic designer or somebody do it and create an actual blog. So now what we're doing is we have on this Facebook ad and YouTube ad and whatever it is, a video that, is somebody, maybe it's the client walking you through how to actually remodel a kitchen or showing the before and after. And then there's an ad that says, hey, do you want to learn about how this whole process works? Click here to download your guide. And there's got to be some web copy, some copy with it, which is again where Melissa steps in and actually writes the full, they tell the story using Facebook ads, but using their words. So in this case, Laura, you're talking to Alex to see what video content we have or what do we need, which Alex then either talks to the client and says, hey, we need this, this, and this. Can you make it happen? Or let me see what we have with the current information or the current videos, and I'll make something. And then, Laura, you go to Turner. Turner, what do we got around this? And either Turner's going to go, we got nothing. Let me figure it out. Or he's going to go, let me send you a couple articles over. And then at this point, we then got to create some sort of downloadable guide. And then you're going to say, all right, Melissa, this is the video that we have. This is the end goal. Do me a favor. Write some copy that you think is going to sell the person on the idea of downloading our guide. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's the same thing as what I just talked about as when you're just doing Facebook ads based on demographics. Hey, Alex, I want to try to generate a bunch of guide downloads or a bunch of interest around kitchens. People aren't necessarily looking for them yet, but we want to almost be like a TV commercial to put that out there. What videos do we have? Great. Turner, what can we give them? Great. Melissa, can you write some ad copy for this? So it's the same exact setup. It's just one is done as a retargeting campaign and one is done as a brand new campaign based off of demographics and psychographics versus with Google, which is intent. So from there, we've got them to download something. Now there's two things that we do. One, email follow-up. We'll have a specific email marketing campaign that walks them through everything that they're thinking about when it comes to kitchen remodeling. So we'll have each email that goes out, and it could be 3 emails, it could be 9 emails, it doesn't really matter. Each email is trying to almost pinpoint a different either objection or idea around kitchens to try to build the trust with them, right? And that's where Melissa comes in, where she goes, all right, let's talk about all the different objections of why people don't want to buy a kitchen, right? And let's say objection number 1 is going to be price. So let's first, we're going to send an email that has a bit of a build up in a story, and when you click the link, it goes to a blog that Turner wrote that talks about what affects the price of building a kitchen. Then number 2, so we're just trying to give them value over and over and over in this series of emails, and we try to give value, 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 and then boom, let's ask for the sale again. Because if all we're doing is just asking for the sale and not actually providing why we're worth all this money, then people aren't going to hire us. We need to provide value over and over and over and then ask for the sale. So that's what we're going to be doing with email. That's all Melissa. On the flip side, after people download our stuff, well, now we know we have somebody who's a bit more engaged on Facebook. Now we can start to show them, somewhere in between the interest and the desire stage of Facebook ads, which is where we come in and we say, hey, let's show you some more kitchens that we've done. A lot of times we actually also link up whatever email is going out with a Facebook ad. So if there's an email going out that talks all about price, then we also show that exact same person an ad on Facebook that talks all about kitchen price. So we're trying to show the same message in different areas. So it's the same consistent thing, but the more places that we can be, the easier it is for them to fully understand our message because we're just hitting them at different points on the internet. So we do all those Facebook ads, and the goal with all this is to get them to hire us, get them to actually take action. And a lot of this is also dependent on the promotional offer, right? What we want to do is we want to say, hey, this is why you should get your kitchen remodeled, because right now we're running a special, so don't miss out on the special, and there's a time commitment with it. Meaning, if we just say, hey, we're going to run a 10% off special for the end of time, well, then they're going to take advantage of that special whenever they want. But if we give them a bit of a timeline of, hey, it ends at this time. Hey, while supplies last. Things like that. It now forces people almost to go into more, not panic mode, but almost panic mode to go, well, shoot, I don't want to miss out. Let me go ahead and get this thing started and give them a call. So that's what we try to do. And Facebook is very big on promotions where you almost have to either get them on an email list, or if you want to just do a direct sell to them of like, hey, check out this ad, now buy a kitchen from us, which is very unlikely, but it's possible, you would need a very large promotion. Because it's kind of like if let's say, Laura, I called you up today and I'm selling a car. And I say, Laura, hey, I'm just calling you from the Toyota dealership. I'll give you a car if you buy it today for 5% off. What would you say?
I'd probably take it because it's only today.
Oh, well, okay. Well, I wasn't expecting that. I would say for 5% off, I would say, well, that's great because, I'm saving $1,500 off a $30,000 car. Bless you. But if I called you up and said, hey, Laura, I got a car for you and it's 80% off today only, you're a little bit more likely to buy it because you're spending $6,000 on a $30,000 car. The more trust that we build with people, the less of a promotional offer we have to give them. If I call you out of the blue and I say, Laura, I got 5% off, it might be kind of weird because now you got to put up somehow $28,000. But if you've been coming into the dealership time and time again, and I'm like, all right, Laura, I got you. If you do this today, this is your 15th time of being in here, I'll give you 5% off. You're more likely because you're just waiting for a reason to go, okay, fine, I'm in. So that's where this promotional offer stuff comes in, is the more they trust us, just like with that heat map that he shows you, the more they trust you, the easier it is to sell to them. The less they trust you, the more you have to incentivize them with money or other things to try to get them to buy right now. Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay. When you first started off with the story, I thought I was already interested in buying your car. That's
right. It would be something total. Yeah. Because it's great that you're giving me, and that's one of the problems with a lot of companies and contractors. They'll do like, hey, we'll give you 5% off up until $100, which is like, oh, great. So you're giving me a maximum of literally $5 off. Like it's nothing. Like there's no product in the world that if you gave me 5% off up until $100, I would go, oh wow, that's a good deal. So promotional offers, if done right, can be very powerful, but a lot of people are afraid to give too much, so they don't do them right or they don't do them at all. But that's kind of how the whole funnel works. And then from there, if let's say they don't end up buying from us, we do all the Facebook ads, we do all the emails, and they still don't buy from us, then we just put them on a long-term nurture campaign, which would be they most likely just get like a newsletter or some piece of value via email and via Facebook ads every 2 weeks. And it could just be a project profile. It could be some other something else going on in the world of kitchen remodeling. But at that point, if they haven't bought from us after we set up our initial email marketing campaign, then we just get them onto some sort of long-term value campaign just to remain top of mind. So when they are ready, we've continuously hit them over and over with marketing and emails and stuff, so they're ready.
Okay, so just give them a better reason, or give them reasons why they should trust us more.
Exactly. It's the same reason why, large companies continuously run ads, right? Like, you know who Coca-Cola is, but because they're constantly showing videos and staying in front of you, you're more likely to continue to build trust with the brand because you're seeing them over and over and over and over and over. So it's the same idea. Does that all make sense?
Like in StoryBrand, like Laura, you'll see it whenever you do StoryBrand, but it's like one of the examples that sticks out in my head is whenever he's like, it's like you're dating the customer or whatever. Like, it's like you'll ask him, will you go on a date with me? And they'll probably say yes, but if you ask him to marry you, you're probably gonna say no. Until after a few dates and you trust them and build up that like relationship with them, then they'll marry you. But until then, every time it's like, will you go on a date with me? Will you go on a date with me?
Okay, definitely.
Yeah.
I'll probably get into that later today.
Perfect. Yeah, you just got to step them up. So that's how we do everything. The name of the game for us is realistically, hey, contractor, you do great kitchen stuff. Let's get your message in front of the right people at the right time and make it everywhere on the internet. Just because it's too hard to sell a $50,000 project over the internet in like one shot, unless the person who's buying, like the prospect, is like, their mind is already made up, they're ready to go. They just need to find somebody today, which is way less likely because we know how long it takes people to actually figure this stuff out, or do the research on this stuff. So that's how we kind of run the whole gamut of online marketing, where we build trust and teach them some stuff. So that's kind of Full Sail as a whole.